ओके सो वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। कैसे हो आप लोग? तो काफ़ी दिनों से बहुत एंजाइटी हो रही थी, बहुत सारे बच्चों को बहुत सारे सवाल आ रहे थे रिगार्डिंग न्यू एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग, राइट? तो आईसीआई अनाउंस कर चुकी है एक्चुअली अपना नया ओके, एम आई लाइव? Let's just quickly check once. Yes, I am. Okay, so जब से इंस्टीट्यूट ने अनाउंस किया है अपना प्रपोज स्कीम ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड ट्रेनिंग, तब से बहुत सारे बच्चे बहुत क्यूरियस हैं, बहुत कुछ जानना चाहते हैं और हर किसी का सबसे पहला सवाल है हमारे लिए भी एप्लीकेबल होगा क्या, हमें क्या पढ़ना है, क्या हमारा सिलेबस चेंज हो रहा है, और उसके अलावा बहुत सारे दूसरे सवाल कि क्या क्या होने वाला है, कैसे कैसे होगा। वैसे तो इस चैनल पे आपने अंशुल सर का लेक्चर देख ही लिया होगा, पिछला वीडियो देख ही लिया है, जिसके अंदर सर ने पूरा अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया है कि प्रपोज चेंजेस क्या है। लेकिन वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून गाइज, वेरी गुड आफ्टरनून। लेकिन कहते हैं ना, अगर इंस्टीट्यूट से ही वो चीज़ सामने आए तो ज़्यादा बेहतर लगता है। तो अभी कुछ ही देर में, यानी कि 3 बजे का टाइम अनाउंस्ड है, कुछ ही देर में आप लोग यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं आईसीआई के प्रेसिडेंट, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट्स, मेंबर को, जितने भी आईसीआई के मेंबर्स हैं उन सबको एड्रेस करेंगे, उन्हें मौका देंगे क्वेश्चंस पूछने का, जिसके आंसर्स आप लोगों को मिलेंगे यहाँ पर। और उसमें सबसे अच्छी चीज़ पता है क्या होती है? मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस आर प्रिटी सेम। समझ लो, हमें जिस चीज़ को लेके कंसर्न है, हम लोग अगर डायरेक्टली पूछते हैं वेल एंड गुड, डायरेक्टली नहीं भी पूछते तो आपके काफ़ी सारे क्वेश्चन यहाँ पर आंसर हो ही जाएंगे। ओके, तो इसीलिए इस पर्टिकुलर सेशन के अंदर हमें बहुत सारे सवाल, चाहे हम पूछे या ना पूछे सीधा इंस्टीट्यूट से, हमें डेफिनेटली आंसर्स तो मिलने वाले हैं। एक सवाल चिंकी कह रही कि मैम डायरेक्ट एंट्री के लिए कैसा होगा न्यू कोर्स, उसी का वेट कर लेते हैं ना। देखो, आने वाले दिनों में हम लोग डेफिनेटली आप लोगों के लिए बहुत डेट्स लेकर आएंगे अबाउट द न्यू कोर्स, अबाउट द थिंग्स विच आर सेटल नाउ। अगर डेट अनाउंस हो जाती है जल्दी से कि कब से एप्लीकेबल होगा, तो उसके बारे में इन्फॉर्मेशन, तो सब चीज़ें डेफिनेटली आने वाली है यहाँ पर। लेकिन यहाँ पर वो चीज़ आने से पहले मुझे लगता है कि हम हमारे एक्सपर्ट से ही पहले जान लेते हैं कि व्हाट आर दे अप टू, इजंट इट? तो आईसीआई खुद ये वेबिनार कंडक्ट कर रहे हैं, क्वेश्चंस आंसर करने की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली अगले 5 मिनट में मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारे सवालों के जवाब हमें उनसे मिलने वाले हैं। सो लेट्स जस्ट वेट, राइट? न्यू सिलेबस का फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट कब होगा? आई नो तरुण, हो सकता है आज ही आपके सवाल का जवाब मिल जाए। आज का पूरा दिन इंस्टीट्यूट के जो हमारे काउंसिल मेंबर्स हैं वो लोग इसी चीज़ का ही तो इन्हीं सवालों के जवाब देने के लिए। सो लाइक जो सवाल आपका, मुझे लगता है वो मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स का भी होगा, मेंबर्स का भी होगा। एवरीवन वांट्स टू नो कि भाई इफेक्टिव डेट क्या है, पहला अटेम्प्ट कौन सा होगा। बिल्कुल विशाल, पक्का प्लान करते हैं। जून एग्ज़ाम के बाद अकाउंट्स और एडवांस अकाउंट प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं क्या? ओके, लाइट याग्मी आपको मैं सिर्फ इतना बोलूँगी, अभी फ़िलहाल अपने जून एग्ज़ाम के बारे में सोचो, उसमें तो कुछ चेंज होने नहीं वाला है, उसके बाद में बात करते हैं। वैसे मान के चलिए कि ऑब्वियसली नवंबर 23 तो होने ही वाला है नया स्कीम आते आते। नवंबर 22 में फाउंडेशन दूंगा तो मैं फाइनल में न्यू कोर्स के अनुसार एग्ज़ाम दे पाऊँगा? यस अनीश, यस, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली तब तक न्यू कोर्स ही एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा, उसमें पुराने कोर्स के हिसाब से आप दे ही नहीं पाओगे। ओके, पर अभी मुझे ये बताओ, फाउंडेशन में बैठे बैठे फाइनल के बारे में काहे सोच रहे हो भाई? अभी इंटरमीडिएट बाकी है, आर्टिकल्स ट्रेनिंग बाकी है, क्यों? ओके, सो मतलब मैं बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ। आई एम जस्ट एक्चुअली वेटिंग फॉर दिस वेबिनार टू बिगिन विद, है ना। हमारे सवाल जो हम इंस्टीट्यूट से पूछना चाहते हैं डायरेक्टली, कई बार ऐसा होता था कि एड्रेस होंगे नहीं होंगे, आज ही भरपूर मौका है कि हम हमारे सारे क्वेश्चंस यहाँ पे सामने रख सकते हैं। 3 से 5 मेंबर्स का वेबिनार है और 5 बजे के बाद स्टूडेंट्स का वेबिनार है ही, तो इस वेबिनार को हम लोग सब मिलके बड़ा अच्छे से एंजॉय करेंगे, इज़न्ट इट? क्या बात है। मैं देख रही हूँ अंशुल सर का भी मन नहीं लग रहा है। अंशुल सर बहुत इंटरेस्ट के साथ जवाब दे रहे हैं सब चीज़ों का। हाँ, सो ही इज़ लाइक अभी दिल्ली दूर है, क्योंकि अभी तो पहले जयपुर नज़दीक है सर के लिए। गुड आफ्टरनून हीत। मैंने इंटर के एग्ज़ाम से इन May 22, सो फाइनल कौन से स्कीम में आएगा मेरा? हीत, अभी आपने एग्ज़ाम दी है ना, सो वेट फॉर इट। आर्टिकल्स ट्रेनिंग चालू करो, हो सकता है नया हो सकता है ऑप्शन मिले। सो जब भी ICAI, मतलब एक जनरल चीज़ आप लोग को बता देती हूँ, जितनी बार भी इस तरह से मेजर चेंजेस आते हैं, सिलेबस चेंज होता है, तो कुछ अटेम्प्ट पैरेलल भी चलते हैं ओल्ड और न्यू के। तो पॉसिबली उस समय एक पैरेलल भी चले, हो सकता है आपको ऑप्शन मिले कि आप नए सिलेबस से देना चाहते हो ओल्ड से। बट मुझे लगता है अभी अगर 3 साल है तो गो एड विद द न्यू वन, है ना। लेटेस्ट सीए बनेंगे तो बेटर ही है। टैक्सेशन में चेंज हो सकता है क्या न्यू सिलेबस में किसी भी सब्जेक्ट में? अरे आपने वो सेशन नहीं देखा फिर अंशुल सर का? क्या कर रहे हो यार, वो सेशन देखो, उसमें पता चलेगा क्या चेंजेस है क्या नहीं है, एग्जैक्टली पूरा डिटेल आपको उसमें पता चल जाएगा। कुछ क्वेश्चन के आंसर यहाँ मिल जाएंगे। हाँ, ये बोलूँगी कि एक्ट में तो जो अमेंडमेंट हर साल होते हैं वही होंगे, हमारे सिलेबस में क्या चेंज होता है उसके बारे में ये वेबिनार ईमानदारी से बैठ के देखते हैं, काफ़ी चीज़ें सॉल्व हो जाएगी। Currently, I'm in BCom 4th semester. Which route I opt? I would always recommend anyone to go ahead with the foundation route, because foundation का नाम foundation क्यों है उसके पीछे reason है। This foundation course create your base for CA exams, है ना। हमारे CA का जो बेस बनता है वो फाउंडेशन से ही बनता है। सीधा जो लोग डायरेक्ट एंट्री से जाते हैं उनको बहुत सारे चैलेंजेस फेस करने पड़ते हैं, लाइक आर्टिकलशिप साथ साथ में करो एंड ऑल, तो मैनेज हो नहीं पाता है, तो सक्सेस रेट काफ़ी लो हो जाता है। सो आई वुड एनी टाइम रिकमेंड कि फाउंडेशन। ये देखो अंशुल सर ने पहले आंसर दे दिया। मैम नवंबर टाइम में सिलेबस नहीं होगा चेंज, वही रहने वाला है, इतना जल्दी थोड़ी होगा भाई, लंबा प्रोसेस होता है। सी अभी तो प्रपोज स्कीम आई है, मेंबर्स के सजेशंस ले रहे हैं, वेबिनार कर रहे हैं, प्रपोज स्कीम में फिर वो फाइनलाइजेशन होगा। ओके, प्ले का बटन एक्टिव हो गया है यहाँ पर, बट अभी तक कुछ स्टार्ट हुआ नहीं है। लेट अस जस्ट वेट, है ना। खैर तब तक हम लोग कुछ बात कर रहे थे, कंटिन्यू करते हैं। हाँ, तो जब भी ऐसा होता है ना, तो ये स्कीम को फिर अप्रूवल लेनी पड़ती है, सारे मेंबर्स, काउंसिल मेंबर्स, सबका अप्रूवल आता है, फिर उसके बाद में गवर्नमेंट से भी अप्रूवल लेना पड़ता है। वो सब होने के बाद फाइनली एकदम टिपिकल सिलेबस का कंटेंट पे बात होती है, मॉड्यूल्स बनते हैं, फिर मॉड्यूल्स फाइनली आप लोगों तक पहुंचते हैं। बहुत समय लगता है, इतना आसान थोड़ी है। May 23 में भी सिलेबस होगा क्या प्रतिभा? मुश्किल है, ठीक है। हमें 2 ग्रुप क्लियर करने के बाद आर्टिकलशिप करना ज़रूरी है, बिल्कुल ज़रूरी है। मेरा May 23 में है। ओके मैम, अभी कोल्ड कोर्स में इंटर देंगे नवंबर को, और फाइनल देते वक्त न्यू कोर्स में देना पड़ेगा ना। चलो मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताती हूँ। सो जब मैं CA करी थी तभी भी सेम सिचुएशन थी, ठीक है। उस समय पुराने कोर्स का नाम था PE1, प्रोफेशनल एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन 1, प्रोफेशनल एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन 2, और फिर था CA फाइनल, ठीक है। फाइनल का नाम नए में भी चेंज नहीं हुआ, ओल्ड में भी चेंज नहीं हुआ, फिर वो हटके आ गया CPT, IPCC, है ना, CPT, PCC और फाइनल। तो फाइनल का मेजर चेंज आ गया था सिलेबस में, फाइनल मैंने भी नया दिया था, और मेरा बाकी का जो स्कीम था वो ओल्ड था। तो उसे क्या ही फ़र्क पड़ता है रे। एक चीज़ ध्यान रखना, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे जब तुम पढ़ना चालू करोगे तब ICAI ने जो लेटेस्ट स्कीम दे रखी है उससे पढ़ लेना, अभी तक तो आई नहीं है। चिंकी बिल्कुल एक सेशन रखते हैं उस पर। IDOC कोर्स के बारे में एक वीडियो लीजिए मैम प्लीज़, अंशुल सर। ओके डेफिनेटली सूरज, क्या बात है। सो हम लोग एक्चुअली बहुत ही बेताबी से वेट कर रहे हैं इंस्टीट्यूट के इस वेबिनार के शुरू होने का। देखते हैं कितना समय और लगता है, कब चालू होता है। डेफिनेटली बहुत सारा सेटअप टाइम और वो सब लगता ही है। वे हाँ, मुझे एक्चुअली वही लग रहा है। मुझे यहाँ पे क्वेश्चंस बाद में दिखाई दे रहे हैं, अंशुल सर मुझसे फास्ट है। 2 मिनट 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 जबरदस्त। हम जून फाउंडेशन पास करेंगे तो इंटर के लिए न्यू सिलेबस होगा। ओके, अफन, मैं आपको यही कहूँगी फिलहाल जून फाउंडेशन हो जान दो। वैसे मुझे लग नहीं रहा है कि इमीडिएटली आपका इंटर का कोई नया सिलेबस आएगा। यू नीड टू स्टडी फ्रॉम द ओल्ड सिलेबस ओनली। मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ वर्षनी। यार सूरज के आइडिया दिया, मजा आ गया। ओके मैम, प्लीज रीड सर्स कमेंट वंस। क्यों? ओ अच्छा, ये पता है, मैं तो पढ़ भी नहीं रही थी। वाह, बच्चों के लिए कौन सा कोर्स देना अच्छा रहेगा? वैसे मैं आपको एक सिंपल सी चीज़ समझाती हूँ, ध्यान से सुनो। हमें ना बहुत ज़्यादा ऐसे ऑप्शंस नहीं होते इंस्टीट्यूट की तरफ से कि हमारे लिए कौन सा अच्छा है कौन सा बुरा है, हम डिसाइड करें। जो करंट कोर्स चल रहा है ना, जिसके क्लासेस चल रहे हैं, आप वही दे सकते हो। आपको ऐसा फील ही क्यों आ रहा है, मुझे बताओ, कि आपको कोई पूछेगा कि तुमको कौन सा वाला कोर्स देना है, तुमको नया देना है पुराना? ओह, हमारे इस लिंक पे कुछ अपडेशंस हुए हैं। बहुत ही जल्दी चालू होने वाला है हमारा ये वेबिनार, तो हम सब वेट कर रहे हैं इसका।
Good afternoon to everybody who is attending this program today. On behalf of everyone, let me welcome the Honorable President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, CA Dr. Devashish Mitra ji. Sir, thank you very much for giving your time. I think the nation is actually waiting to listen from you on the new education policy which we are proposing to launch. I also welcome our Honorable Vice President of ICAI, CA Aniket Sunil Talati ji, for this address today, because the vision, when we have to talk, have to hear from the leaders of the profession, and they are here with us to share their views. I also have with me my Vice Chairman, Vishal Doshi ji. Welcome, Vishal bhai. With me, I also have Board of Studies Director Vandana Nagpal ji, who is going to be there with us for the entire session. Friends, there is one saying: be motivated by what most people fear, and that's change. I think this is time when it has come. Within 7 years, a new credit policy is coming into existence. There has been a lot of deliberation in the previous council, and we are fortunate that the present President Devashish Mitra ji has actually played a very pivotal role in coming out with this thought process which we are seeing today in form of CRET, which has gone for the public exposure. We have gone through a lot of deliberations in past, created multiple groups, which our president is going to talk about and share his views on that. But in the meantime, I would like to tell that within 7 years, generally the timeline of any CRET is 10 years, and this time it is 7 years. 7 years primarily from a different point of view, that the economy is changing, the world is changing, the way of learning is changing, the way of teaching is changing. I don't think ICAI can be behind, and we have always been playing a very important role in the entire education system, time and again, from 1949. With us, when we have a discussion today, we are going to take you through the entire structure of the new policy which has been thought about. But before that, I would request first the Vice President to share his views, and then we'll request President Sir to give his words of wisdom to all of us. Over to you, Vice President Sir.
Thank you so much, and a very good afternoon to all the members who are attending this webinar. Very important national outreach for chartered accountant members in practice, in industry, all of whom are a very important part of the ICAI. Most respected President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Sri Dr. Debashish Mitraji, under whose leadership and stewardship we are going to be taking this CRET forward. And the entire scheme has been exposed for views from members, students, firms, academicians, practitioners, industry experts. And I'm sure with him at the helm, we will be able to come out with one of the finest revisions in the education and training of chartered accountancy. Also, the chairman and vice chairman of Board of Studies, Danyavad Sharma ji and Vishal Doshi ji, who have put a lot of efforts ever since they took over this Board of Studies to ensure that the in-principle approval of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs was received, and the central government has then asked us to expose the entire new curriculum for comments. Vandana ji, the director, and everybody who's listening, I think it's a very important day and a very important time for each one of you who's listening, and for those who may be listening in a recorded mode. The chartered accountancy curriculum is not just for students, and therefore it is important today that a 2-hour outreach has been planned for chartered accountants, after which a separate outreach is being done for the students. Because the stakeholders in the revision of this course, my firm belief is not just the students who are pursuing or who wish to pursue chartered accountancy, but as much or even more concerned are members who have qualified in the old scheme, who will be getting articled assistants to help them in their offices, and of course, those in industry who will be employing new chartered accountants. So members also have equal weightage and equal say in this process, as do students. And I'm glad that so many of members have already started responding to this course. One is looking in social media, on WhatsApp. There are live discussions going on the positive aspects of this CRET, and also certain suggestions which are coming in. I will only quote my Honorable President, who often says that the entire council, 32 members which are elected, 8 government nominees, and the election process goes through the entire membership of ICAI. So though the council is a reflection of the membership, I think President Sir always mentions that we should not ever feel that we are the sole repositories and depositories of all knowledge and wisdom. And I think it is this attitude that the Honorable President Sir has, through which the outreach programs are also being done in such a wonderful manner across the country. And I think it is starting off with this very important national webinar. My only request and urge to all members would be, please participate. It may not be that just your children or some relative may be doing this course. It is also for the quality of articles that will come to you, and more importantly, the quality of chartered accountants that the institute will produce in the future. It's a very forward-looking revision to education and training that is happening. The institute for the first time is looking at internationalizing the chartered accountancy course, because so far we understood our students to be students from India who were commerce graduates and wanted to do chartered accountancy. That was the largest section. But I think with this course revision, the target audience as institute, the second largest accounting body, is going to be how CA through ICAI is the profession of choice for the entire world. For any commerce student anywhere in the world, he must be looking up to this course and he must be given an opportunity. He may be in North America, in South America, in Africa, in Asia, or in the Australian continent. He must have the opportunity to also pursue chartered accountancy. I think truly we are looking global through this revision of the CRET, and I'm sure with the wonderful response that you will all be giving. And I'm only requesting here to the Vice Chairman and Chairman both, while you go through this entire presentation, request all the members to open the link which is provided for giving your feedback, and simultaneously as you go through the presentation, please send your comments. Because if you think that, yes, tomorrow I will submit, day after tomorrow, it's a 30-day period, and looking to our preoccupation with so many professional commitments, one may not be able to give your comments. So please log in on your phone, on your computer, alongside the presentation and give your feedback. I can only share with you that at the BOS and at ICAI, each and every suggestion is going to be scrutinized. They are going to be tabulated, and definitely we will try and see how best the views of public at large can be accommodated in this revised scheme. With this, I once again wish the Board of Studies all the very best for taking this new curriculum forward, and look forward to a very active participation from membership at large. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President, sir. I think three important parts which you talked about is quality. Number two, quality of the people whom we are going to get, if the feedback is going to be right. Number two, because people might feel at their level that, this change can come. And I think, friends, you can actually participate today so openly, because the transparency with which our president has actually thought about to take this entire CRET implementation is actually an answer to the change which we are expecting to get in. Number two was on the profession of choice for the world is a reality when we are talking about the international curriculum. Third is simultaneously giving your opinion on the feedback form, online form, which has been created, which is going to come out in a very detailed manner once the entire process of outreach is completed. But before this, I would like to just make one quote which I noted for our president, sir, which is, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. I think time has come to create what we want to imagine this profession to be. And there cannot be a better person than our leader, who himself, talks, very futuristic. And we are here to listen from him. President, sir, I think let us create something new, which is very palatable to the world. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dayaniva Sharma, Chairman, Board of Studies. Very respected Vice President of the Institute, Aniket Talati, the Vice Chairman, Board of Studies, Vishal Doshi, the Director, Board of Studies, Vandana Nagpal, and to all the members who are listening to me, a very, very good afternoon to all of you. Let me tell you, I was attending a conference about 10 days back. And one of the speakers, after I had spoken, he had a session and I was just leaving the hall. But then I heard him say that the institute over a period of time has remained static. And he was saying the static more from the point of view of education. I stopped on my way and I looked around and I wanted to hear what he wanted to say. He said that, look, our course curriculum has not changed with the changing times. He was saying we live in a dynamic environment, and the course curriculum should change with this environment. Who is going to wait for 10 years, he was saying. I heard him speak. I did not leave the room. Then I told the organizers that now I would like to just respond to whatever he was saying. And I told all those who are present that today we have not waited for 10 years. We have, changed. We are trying to change the course curriculum, keeping in mind the international scenario, the international education standards, the national education policy, the change that has taken place in the area of technology. You see the greater stress on ethics, greater stress on application of mind, the way we visualize the institute and the profession to be in the future, keeping in mind the changing scenario. This gentleman who was speaking before me, he did not know that we have gone for the CRET. He did not know that we have changed so much. So after I have spoken for 10 minutes, he came back and he said, I'm sorry, I just didn't know that, you all guys are changing things. Right? So that is what we are trying to do. Change not for the sake of change, but change for the better. And today, all these three gentlemen who were with me, Dayaniva Sharma, the Vice President Aniket Talati, Vishal Doshi, they had to make presentation before the Ministry of Corporate Affairs when the draft syllabus or the draft curriculum was being discussed. A lot of pointed questions were asked of them. And then only the ministry gave an in-principle approval for going ahead. Not for, giving a in principle approval that the syllabus is approved, but for going ahead for public exposure. What we are trying to do today in this, we are trying to first of all see to what extent we make the curriculum international. Because all these three gentlemen, they are of the belief that it is time that we really looked at the institute as a huge global body. And the institute must play a rightful role in the global scenario. So the first thing what the council did was saw what was happening around and tried to see that the course that we are going to have in the future is in sync with what is happening all around us. Two or three issues which you might find a bit controversial, or which on which we would like to have your viewpoints. And at the institute, we are always open for debate and discussion. And that's why we are here, because urging all of you to give your comments. For example, we have reduced the articleship period from 3 years to 2 years. Now, this is just not a reduction across. What we have done is the leap period that one used to have earlier has been reduced. And now what we are trying to say is this, that during articleship, you concentrate only on articleship. Concentrate on that and, get the best out of this whole articleship system that we are going to have. Now, this is the proposal of the institute. Please note, earlier the articleship was 3 years, but with a much longer leap period. Now the leap period is much lesser. I think it's 24 days. 12 years, 24 days. So it's just 24 days as against more than 150 days which was earlier. So we are trying to reduce the leap period, trying to tell the students to concentrate and try to complete the course as quickly as possible. That is the thought that we are having. Are you in agreement with that thought? If you're in agreement with that thought, very good. Now, somebody also told us, and in the council it was being discussed, that if a person wants to go for practice, will 2 years be enough, or should we make him go for 1 more year with a member in practice? And the feeling was that, in that case, 1 additional year he should go for. Right? So this is the way we are looking at it. If you are going exclusively for service, 2 years articleship. Do you agree with that viewpoint? We felt that is the way to make the course, make the course not easier, but make the course quicker to complete. Right, so that we attract the best of minds to the course, The number of papers. Earlier, we used to have 8 papers in inter, 8 papers in final. Now we are trying to have 6 papers in inter, 6 papers in final. Once you see this, the first reaction of yours might be, is the institute trying to dilute the whole syllabus? We are not. When you read the syllabus, also look at the fact that along with this 6 papers and 6 papers, and along with the reduction in 4 papers, we are having 4 self-paced study modules. So we hope that those 4 self-paced study modules will help you, will help the students, will make the course more interesting, will ensure that the students apply their mind to that more extent. Today, when you have the MCQs, we don't have any negative marking. We are also talking in the course that can the council be given power for negative marking? Would you agree with that in the MCQs that we can give for negative marking? Because today we don't have a negative marking. We are looking into that, looking for your views on those areas. We do not have a closed mind. We have on which I think there was a unanimous approval in the council. We are enhancing the stipend by 100%. And the one which has, I think, got approval across the board was this introduction of BAA, Business Accounting Associate. You don't become a chartered accountant. You are an intermediate pass. What do? You are nowhere. So what we are doing is, as part of this whole system, you see, we are trying to introduce this BAA. You don't become a chartered accountant, we'll give you a BAA qualification. So, these are the changes that you are making. We are also in the curriculum that you are developing, we are saying that can ethics, technology, these kind of things play a very important role. We want that these subjects should be there in every single subject that is taken up in the curriculum in the intermediate and final, especially in the final. So that is what we are looking for. So basically, we are encouraging our students for the application of mind. We are trying to be competitive in the marketplace. We are trying to be global because, as the Honorable Vice President said, that this also lays down, it talks about international curriculum. So, in a changing scenario, we are trying every challenge that the student faces, we are trying to convert that challenge into an opportunity and trying to see that the student takes and the institute ensures that full advantage is taken of that opportunity that a challenge provides. But I can speak, the Vice Presidents can speak, Dayaniva Sharma and Vishal Doshi will speak at length, but at the end of the day, we'll be successful, if you participate in the whole process. If you come forward and give your comments. We are not saying that on every point you should agree with us. If you have a viewpoint which is different, then you must justify the viewpoint. Just don't write that I don't agree. Please justify why you don't agree. And if your justification is found reasonable and logical, we are having an open mind to discuss that change that you are suggesting. So the future of the profession is now not only in the hands of the institute, but to a great extent, it is in your hands because you have to provide the comments. You have to take some time off, read the curriculum, and then give your comments. My request to you, please, I know that, maybe you feel that course curriculum, I have already become a chartered accountant. What do I have to do with this? But at the end of the day, if you want that gentleman who spoke to me in the seminar and said that the institute is not really moving, if you want to hear those comments, which are not very charitable as long as the institute is concerned, then you don't do anything. But if you want to hear people speak positively of the institute, say that it's really changing and becoming a global body, please read the new curriculum and please provide your comments. We look forward to them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, President Sir. I think you have put forward a very clear thought before our members. It is basically we all are ICAI. That is the most important message which President Sir has very strongly and honestly put forward. It's not a change because we want to get a change. It's change for good. Your identity, my identity, every one of us identity actually depends on what our course is going to be for the future, which is the most important one. More importantly, furthermore, when we got this opportunity to make our course internationally available for most of the countries or across the globe, we have to be there. That matters a lot. Very simple and straight words President Sir has talked about. There is no dilution in the course, and this is reality. What we mean by that is, the new ways of learnings are being adopted by ICAI. And fortunately, the toughest time has proved ICAI to be the global leader in form of digital learning hub. We have completed within 1 year, 97 years of learning with our members, and all the students are able to get access of all the virtual classes across the country, wherever the classes have happened, which is actually creating an equitable ground. If a person from the remotest place where he was not getting any opportunity to go for a right classes, he is today getting the best of the best faculty. Thanks to you, President Sir, for giving this very different look altogether. But the fact goes very simple, friends. Today, we are going to get tomorrow's chartered accountants. And the most important part is how we want to see our profession from tomorrow or years to come is something which we need to start working on. Friends, we have made an online form which is actually categorized in multiple sections. And I'll just request the office, if possible, to share the form so that we give you an insight of how the form looks like. So the new site which is available is at boscret at ICAI. One second.
boscret.icai.org.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So if you see this entire website, which has been very beautifully done, and what more we can dream of when the World Congress is going to be there, sir, this year, I think that you need to actually put a word to all our members to participate in a large manner. And this feedback might actually give birth on that World Congress Day to the international curriculum also. So friends, this entire thing has been categorized into multiple tabs like this. The first one happens to be the basic, which is providing all the details. And this has been drilled down to a level where whether it is male, female, age group, member in practice industry, academicians, then the most important part is this data is actually going to give us the entire statistical or data, information in every form where we want to do any kind of data analytics on the tool. So this is the most important form which you need to fill. Without that, you cannot actually move forward. Further, if you go on the top, these entire tabs are divided into foundation course, intermediate course, practical training, self-paced learning module, then soft skills and IT, and then final course, exit route, eligibility for CAs, and eligibility for COP, and the international curriculum. So this is how that is being divided. You can select whichever actually. We request you to actually put feedback for all these forms. In total, there are only 49 questions which are there. But this 49 is actually hitting a century. That's the only message I would like to give you all. So keep this form open before you when we are actually going to discuss line by line on every aspect. So this is how we have actually developed. And the most important part, friends, at this point in time, all the members, today we are doing this session for the members. Let me share with you, the current feedback has gone to a good number, and 75% of the feedback has come from the students. But the most important part is members also have to equally participate and take this thing forward in a true way. So this is what we wanted to share with you very quickly. As Vice President Sir suggested, keep this tab open. We are going to discuss line by line all these points and take you forward with this entire scheme. So just a moment. Thank you, President Sir. Thank you, VP Sir.
Thank you, President Sir. Thank you, VP Sir.
So can you just play the PPT? Members, a special request to you all people, as President Sir has rightly said, we all have to give our feedback. I request you to kindly talk to your partners, your colleagues, your members in industry, and multiple people whom you are working with. Also request you all people to ensure that your entire office gives a feedback in a large manner, because all the articles who are working together, it is going to be of their interest and also the interest of our profession in large manner. So let me just take you through the first most important slide, which is this. You all might be actually seeing this document which has been released on the website already by our Board of Studies on the ICAI.org in a separate tab for the new CRET feedback. As you all are aware, which we were talking about, we have put forward the existing and the proposed scheme together. We are going to discuss each and everything line by line. The foundation papers were 4. It will continue to be 4. We are going to talk about the subjects which are going to be there in this in the next slides. Intermediate, we had 8 papers. Now they have been made to 6 papers. And there is a very interesting change which has been brought with a lot of thought in mind, so that an article who is going to join post-qualifying intermediate will have a knowledge level which we all are expecting to have. Then a portion of intermediate and final is also been introduced in form of self-paced module, which we are going to discuss in detail. We'll try to make you understand what this self-paced learning means and how it is different from the regular, tedious way of learning, where it is going to be a pleasure to learn is going to be the word which I'm talking about, is the most important part. Please, pleasure to learn will be there for all the members, students. And the final paper is going to be, again, we had 8 papers and now that is going to be made to 6 papers. And again, we are going to discuss about this. I request my Vice Chairman to take the next slides forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman, sir. A very good afternoon to all the members present on this national webinar, or I would say the national outreach for the CRET. Friends, let me at this point in time, maybe many of you would be wondering what exactly is this CRET. So I would just like to share the full form of CRET over here. It is Committee for Review of Education and Training, which is a committee formed by the council every 10 years, like it was discussed. And they submit a report on the basis of which the new curriculum is adopted. Friends, I will also take a couple of minutes in just explaining the process and the way forward. So, like we discussed, that we have already obtained an in-principle approval from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, because the proposed changes in the curriculum required changes to the CA regulations, and therefore we had approached the MCA, who have given an in-principle approval. We have this 30-day window for the outreach and to get public comments. So public comments would mean from members, from students, from employers, from the academicians, and even other stakeholders. Once that window is closed, it would be on 1st of July. Thereafter, at the Board of Studies, we would be evaluating through all the responses that we have received, deliberate internally. We would then take it to the Board of Studies, deliberate at the board level, whatever are the suggestions, recommendations that we have received. Thereafter, it will go to the council, where again it would be deliberated at length, and the modifications that the council accepts to the scheme would be considered. And then after that, again, we would be approaching the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and also making presentations to the MCA with respect to the comments and the suggestions that have been received, and the overall way the feedback has been the comments or the way the feedback has been accepted by the stakeholders. And thereafter, we would be receiving the final change in the regulations of the MCA. And it is only after that this proposed scheme would take the form of actual change in the syllabus. And after that, then there would be the transitional provisions, and from a subsequent date that the scheme would be getting actually implemented. So this is the background that I just wanted to share with the process that is going forward. Friends, we talked a lot about change, and I believe that the biggest change that we see is that having such an outreach meeting by virtual mode. I don't think that the previous CRET would have ever had this opportunity to reach out to members virtually in such large numbers. And today, with the changing times, changing technology, we are able to reach out to so many members at one go. And this is the change that we have been talking about. The Honorable President, the Vice President, and the Chairman mentioned that when there is a change, we need to change our curriculum also. And we are bringing a lot of these aspects into the new curriculum. So coming to the foundation course. The foundation level papers. So as has been discussed earlier, that we were having 4 papers and we would still continue to have 4 papers at the foundation. But there is a change in the topics of the foundation level papers. The paper 1 is accounting, paper 2 is business laws, paper 3 is the quantitative aptitude, which would contain the business mathematics, logical reasoning, statistics, and paper 4 is the business economics. So just highlighting the change between what is there in the current and what is there in the proposed. As far as paper 1 is concerned, it is about accounting, but there would be some elements or some topics which are there presently in the intermediate level, which would be brought to the foundation level. That would increase the standard at the foundation level paper. So that is one change as far as paper 1 is concerned. In paper 2, earlier, so I would say presently, we were having business correspondence and reporting, which is now not being included in the proposed scheme. And instead, to facilitate those students, who would require such a communication skills and the business correspondence and reporting skill sets, there is a proposal that an online course would be launched with respect to English language and business communication, which would be recommendatory, and the students who feel that they are lacking in these skill sets, they can undergo that. So the proposed scheme, under the proposed scheme, paper 2, it talks only about the business laws. Paper 3, one more change as far as business laws is concerned. Presently it was 60%, which would now be 100% of the business laws. The full paper would be there. And this paper is proposed to be a descriptive paper by which we would be able to examine or assess the communication skills of the student in addition to the understanding of the laws. The paper 3 is same between the current and the proposed with respect to business mathematics, logical reasoning, and statistics. When we come to paper 4, again, there is I would say it was 60% was business economics and 40% was with respect to the business and commercial knowledge. Now under the proposed scheme, 100% would be with respect to business economics. And so there is a subject of economics for finance at the intermediate level in the present CA course, which would now be merged with this paper 4 in the proposed foundation level, and it would become a 100 marks paper. And as far as business and commercial knowledge is concerned, the students, as part of their practical training, they would be able to understand more of the business and have more of the understanding of the business and commercial knowledge. So friends, this is with respect to the foundation level papers and the changes that are proposed in the foundation level papers. We move on to the intermediate level papers. As was discussed, that presently we are having 8 papers, against which the proposal is to have 6 papers. So presently we are having 2 papers on accounting, the paper 1, which is accounting, and paper 5, which is advanced accounting, which would now be merged into a single paper that would be advanced accounting. So it would typically not be full 2 papers into one. There would be some topics which are being felt that they are no longer required, which would be dropped, and some topics which would be taken as part of the accounting in the foundation level exam. And therefore, this paper would be a combination of 2 papers, present papers, but at the same time, they would not be like a 200 mark paper into one. When we talk of paper 2 in the proposed scheme, corporate laws, currently we are having corporate and other laws. the proposed scheme, under the proposed scheme, the corporate laws would cover a full 100-mark paper on the Companies Act in its entirety. Presently, there is some portion that is being done covered at the intermediate level, and there is some portion which is covered at the final level. The proposal is that the whole of the Companies Act would be brought in at the intermediate level. This will also help in students, because like we are saying, that the proposed scheme has that the articleship would start after completion of both the groups of intermediate, and with the whole Companies Act being learnt by the student at the intermediate level, at the time of the practical training, at the time of articleship, the full knowledge of company law would help the student in understanding or implementing and executing the work in a better manner. The third paper with respect to cost and management accounting is the same as is in the existing and the proposed, so there is no change in that. Paper 4, taxation, which is a combination of the direct tax and indirect tax, that also will continue to remain the same. It's a combination of direct and indirect tax. Paper 5 is the auditing and code of ethics. Presently, the paper 6, it is paper 6, which is auditing and assurance, which is now being proposed to be paper 5 under the auditing and code of ethics. So there are no major changes with respect to that paper. And coming to paper 6, there are some changes here again, friends. Paper 6 will be a combination of financial management and strategic management, which under the present curriculum, what we have are the paper 7 and paper 8, where we have the EIS and SM, and we have a paper 8 of financial management and economics for finance. So as was discussed earlier, from the present paper, the economics for finance will move into the foundation level. From the paper 8 at the inter, it will move to the paper 4 at the foundation level. Financial management, the remaining portion that is there presently in the paper 8, that would be taken into as part 6B of the proposed paper, strategic management of 50 marks. Paper 7, presently that we have strategic management, that would be covered as paper 6A in the proposed scheme of 50 marks. And EIS, the Enterprise Information System. This is technology-driven education, information technology education, and this would be integrated with each of the subjects at the final level. So friends, these are the proposed changes that are with respect to the intermediate papers. Now, I would request Chairman Sir to kindly take the presentation forward.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. This is something very interesting and important which you put forward. Friends, there has been an amount of speculation or there is an amount of confusion which is there in people's mind that, certain syllabus has been trimming down. The fact is the big no. The focus for the institute is that we want to give a quality learning experience in all together. Earlier we had multiple subjects which were built with small laws attached to it. If you see the corporate laws, which Vice Chairman was talking about, which was paper 2 earlier, corporate and other laws. So what used to happen in corporate and other laws was corporate laws was there in the intermediate, then it was also there in the final. But other laws, which are actually having some specific learning experience we want people to have, this time the council in its wisdom very categorically told that when a person is getting ready for his articles period, he should know corporate law effectively. All other laws can be pushed into self-paced learning. Now, self-paced learning, again, is a newer way of learning. Please take it from us. This might be a step towards an online exam in time to come. But the fact is very simple. This self-paced learning modules are divided into 4 sets, which you need to do it post your intermediate qualification during your articles time, anytime, anywhere. You can learn, continue to learn, sitting in a bus, sitting in a train, sitting in a car. While you don't have any work on hand, student can actually go through that learning, and once they are ready with the learning, they can go for a proctored way of writing examination, which is online examination assessment test, which is going to be completely MCQ based. So this is a newer way of learning. Like example, in set A and set B are going to be compulsory. Set C and D are going to be a choice which a student can take any one topic. This is again a recommendatory. This might go under change based on your inputs which are going to be received by us. Now, when you talk about set A, you see FEMA, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, Prevention and Money Laundering, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, then securities laws, enforcement of securities, real estate, RERA, multiple such laws are there which were being added at different level. So what the council has thought is basically if we are able to put it as a self-paced learning and they can pick up from there, read it, complete it. By the time he completes his self-paced learning, once he completes his learning, he has to go for an assessment test, which is a proctored assessment test. Number 3, once you qualify, you need to get 50 marks in that. That's online MCQ based. Again, I am repeating. Once you qualify, this marks will not be forming part of your main examination. This is you need to qualify. You need to complete and put it at a rest. Primarily what the council has thought is, once you qualify, we have multiple certification courses which are in detail learning experience where you need to go for again assessment test, qualify and take a certificate of a specialization. So we want to make specialization as very important aspect post qualification. So this learning for all of you will be from a point of view that, this is knowledge which a student should carry along with him when he is going to write his final examination. Set A, which I talked about, is compulsory. This all laws again are not going to be fully applicable. This is, we are waiting for your recommendation, whether we put 1 law, 2 law, 4 laws, 6 laws, small laws combination. Set B, where again there was a discussion happening that the costing is being moved out from the final. It is not that it is moved out from the final. We want in final a person has to focus on auditing, financial reporting and other aspects of his post-qualification requirement. So this self-paced learning is now moved to strategy, in a set B, which is strategic cost management and performance evaluation. This is going to be a self-paced learning again. This will also be an MCQ based. Again, this will be a 50 marks passing requirement, which is there. There can be a combination. We want to give a choice to our students what area of expertise they want to understand and learn to be. Then set C, you can choose any one of them. And finally, set D is basically for the first time, if you see in last so many years, Constitution of India has been put as a choice to learn. Then psychology, philosophy, entrepreneurship and communication to include advocacy. These are the things which are being proposed at this point in time. Based on the feedback which we are going to receive, the combinations can undergo change. So you have today a right to give your suggestion with by 30th of this month, right? So this is with regards to self-paced learning module. It's not going to be so easy also. It's not going to be tough. What we want is people to have a continuous learning experience whenever, wherever possible. And this we have demonstrated by adopting Digital Learning Hub at a very large level. So friends, let me just take you, I hope most of you have got the clarity with regards to what self-paced module is. Complete your intermediate examination, get into articleship. Before writing your final, your self-paced module should have been completed. And the marks which are obtained here are not going to be part of your final examinations. So this is one thing which I wanted to put it very clear. Vishal sir, anything you would like to add here? Right? So let me just take you to the next slide, which is on the final, which is our requirement where we talked about from 8, it has again become 6. Again, you can understand when you're talking about self-paced module, lot of things have been shifted from the main writing of examination to self-paced learning module. So now paper 1 continues to be the financial reporting. Paper 2 is more or less going to follow the same pattern with certain other aspects involved, strategic financial management. But the most important, which I would like to talk in the final syllabus, is going to be the last chapter, or might be the induction of ethics and information being part of the entire core paper syllabus. How it is going to be, we'll discuss about that also. Third paper is on the auditing. Fourth, corporate and economic laws. If you see, corporate laws have been moved to intermediate, economic laws have actually moved to self-paced learning. So this is one of the most important change which you all have to note, that the learning experience have to be different today. What was been happening over a period of time might be not the same which is required for today and in times to come. Then I am going to talk about paper 4, which is direct tax laws, which was earlier paper 7, which was direct tax law and international taxation, that continues to be there. Indirect taxes, which was paper 8, now it's going to be paper 5. The most important part is going to be the paper 6. Let me just put it before you. The paper 6. There has been a lot of deliberation happening, which I've seen on multiple YouTube channels, Facebook, and social media platforms. Vishal Bhai, I think people are actually underestimating this paper 6. The best part, which we all have been thinking, that when a learning experience of a chartered accountant is there, he should be in position to do a 360-degree assessment of himself. Now, under the integrated business solutions, what is going to happen is all parts, direct tax, indirect tax, auditing, financial reporting, all other aspects are going to be covered, and you are going to have an entire case study based scenario which will be given to you, and the question and answers are going to come from that, and there will be multiple solutions for that particular aspect. So this particular paper 6, which is integrated business solution, is going to be worth interesting for attempting by also existing chartered accountants. It's going to be very fun-loving paper. Rather not, it's going to be so easy. A person has to get that 5 papers in his fold, then he is able to qualitatively write his examination, which is one of the most important aspect in this. Any points you would like to add, Vishal Bhai, in this? Anything which you like to share with your views on this? On the paper 6.
No. So, Chairman, like you rightly said, that if we see under the current, the risk management, the financial services and capital markets, international taxation, the economic laws, the global financial and reporting standards, either they have been moved to other papers like a set A or set C, anyone to be selected, and what we have are integrated business solutions. I would just like to add that what happens is that this is a final level paper, and friends, many times what we have observed, especially with our friends in the industry, that when we talk of what are their expectations from the newly qualified chartered accountants, they feel they require that the chartered accountant should be a person who, when we give a problem, they should be able to do a 360-degree review and should give us a solution, considering all the aspects with respect to the finance and the taxation and everything. So what this paper 6 now, integrated business solutions, would do, it would be moving towards that direction, that where we have a case study. I'm just hypothetically saying that might be a case study which would be of, let us say, 25-30 mark case study, and where a typical situation would be given to the students, and the students would be should be able to visualize or give their solutions considering all the aspects with respect to the accounting, the direct tax, the indirect tax, and all. And that is what would help them in future, either whether that after qualification that student goes for a practice or in industry. But this paper 6 is something that is going to mold him for that.
Yeah. And friends, one thing which I would like to tell you all is, ethics and information technology is going to be embedded in the final paper, which I would like to just tell you what it means is, all the technological aspect which the today government is changing from, paper based to online based approach. What kind of data analytics which can be used, what kind of information can be pulled from which kind of site, how the data is going to be analyzed, how your certification is going to depend on the data which has been analyzed. Then further, what are the kind of different technologies which can be used for extracting the information. And also, when you talk about ethics, I think all the chapters of every core subject is actually going to be embedded with ethics. And now ethics is not only going to be forming part of auditing paper, but it is going to be forming part of all the subjects across the board, right? So with this, I request Vice Chairman sir to take the next slide.
Yeah. So friends, now we move on to some of the examination related aspects. With respect to first is the manner of assessment. What would be the nature or the type of the questions that would be set for the various level of the examinations. So coming to first the foundation level. So foundation level, presently it is partly subjective and partly objective, which with a negative marking of 25% or 0.25 for 1 mark for each wrong answer to MCQs, which it's proposed to be continued at the proposed foundation level also, where it would be partly subjective and partly objective, and negative marking of 25% for each wrong answer to the MCQs. Moving to the intermediate examination, presently we have 30% MCQs or a case scenario based question, and the balance 70% is descriptive, and these are in only select papers. I would say more of the theory papers that we have the 30% MCQs and 70% descriptive, and there is no negative marking presently in the MCQs at the intermediate level. Moving forward, the proposed scheme at the intermediate level, there is a proposal that 30% case scenarios or MCQ based questions would be there across all the papers, and the balance 70% would be descriptive type. But another change over here, so one is that 30% MCQs would be across all papers, and the second proposed change is to introduce 25% negative marking for each wrong answer to the MCQs. Moving to the final level examination, presently we have 30% MCQs and 70% descriptive questions, and closed book in the select papers. Again, there is no negative marking at the final level presently. The proposal now is to have 30% case scenario study-based MCQs and 70% descriptive in all papers, with the introduction of negative marking of 25% for each of the wrong answer to the MCQs, and also open book, restricted open book pattern of assessment. So I think open book, everybody would agree that what open book is, but restricted open book is where the student would be given the bare act that would be available to the student. That is what would be restricted open book, and with that bare act, the student would be required to attempt the answers to the various questions. So this 25% negative marking is proposed to be there now for all the three levels, and that is predominantly to prevent guesswork and make the student to improve the preparation and apply their skill sets in a proper manner so as to answer the MCQs correctly. So this is with respect to the manner of assessment. The next we come to is the pass percentage. The change in there is at the foundation level, the pass percentage. Presently, we have 40% in each paper and 50% in the aggregate at the foundation level, which is now proposed to make it 50% in each paper. Again, I'm just repeating that the papers would be 2 would be descriptive and 2 would be MCQs. This is how the structure of the 4 papers of foundation would be. But now there is a proposal to have 50% passing mark in each paper. As far as intermediate and final examinations are concerned, there are no changes proposed to that. Whatever we have at present, 40% in each paper with the aggregate of 50% in each group to pass, that would continue in for the intermediate and final levels. For the self-paced online modules, the passing mark would be minimum 50% for each of the modules. So this is with respect to the pass percentage. moving forward, there is a change proposed in the exemption. So friends, as all of us know presently, and I think many of us would have taken the benefit also, that in any paper that a student scores 60% or
विशाल भाई जो पासिंग वाला मार्क्स वाला जरा एक बार वापस बताओगे, पासिंग मार्क्स वाला इंटरमीडिएट का.
Yeah. So in the intermediate, the passing mark, whatever is present, the proposal is same, 40% marks in individual paper and 50% marks in the aggregate to pass the group. So that is continuing. There is no change that is proposed at the intermediate level passing mark. And similarly for the final level passing mark also, 40% marks in each individual paper and 50% marks in the aggregate to pass the group. So moving to the exemption, friends. So like we all know, right now 60% student gets in a paper but is not able to pass the group, the remaining 3 papers, let us say. And so that student gets exemption in the paper that he or she has scored 60% or more, and that exemption continues till 3 more papers. And whatever is the marks that the student gets in that exempted paper, the balance, the student has to cover in the balance 3 papers. So let us say, for example, a student has scored 70% marks in one paper but is still not able to pass the group, and that exemption carries forward. So in the subsequent exam, the student need not appear for that paper where the student has scored 70%, but in the remaining 3 papers, in each of the 3 papers, the student has to get at least 40% of the marks, and the aggregate of the remaining 3 papers should be 130 marks, and we add the 70 that the student had obtained in the exempted paper, he or she would get 200 and would pass the group. Now this exemption was allowed to be carried forward for 3 attempts. If in the 3 attempts the student is not able to pass the group, the exemption would lapse and the student would be required to appear for all the 4 papers from the 4th attempt onwards. This is what is the present provision. Now the proposal is that the present provision would continue from the 4th attempt onwards. So let us say the student has not yet passed the group in spite of the 3 attempts. From the 4th attempt onwards, the student would still be allowed to carry the exemption forward, but would be required to score 50% marks in each of the remaining 3 papers. Right. So what we mentioned earlier, that 40% in each and 170 in the total, but now from the 4th attempt onwards, that student would still be able to avail exemption, but in each of the 3 papers, the student would have to score 50%. Again, that option has been given that the student may opt to surrender the exemption and then appear for 4 papers if the student wants to. So this is what is their changes with respect to the exemption that is there. I would now request Chairman Sir to take us through the changes proposed in the practical training.
Yeah, thank you. I think most of you might have understood by now the foundation, inter and final, the way we are going to take it forward is basically from a prospective and futuristic point of view. And earlier that exemptions which were not been available now are available for them to take it forward. Now, when you talk about the practical training, the foundation and route and direct entry route, after passing both the groups of intermediate and completion of ICAI, which is basically the technology, IT course that need to be completed is actually been proposed here. And the leave which we are talking about, it was earlier 1/7 of the time of a total 3 years time was given to them for their examination and other leaves. Now that is going to be only for 12 days. So there is a detailed working which has been put it on the site also that can be taken from you people, right? And the article period is reduced from 3 years to 2 years is not from any other point of view. Technically, if you see all the leaves which are being considered earlier, what used to happen, we were allowing intermediate student to join the articles post completing one group. Then the article used to again go back on the examination leave for a month. God forbid he is not cleared, he used to again go back for a month. So if you see the total calculation which we're working out, was the difference between the new and the proposed scheme is only going to be 130 days, assuming everything is going to be in first attempt only. Considering that aspect, the council has taken a call that, instead of making it article period, which is with breaks, that can be actually become a seamless process. Even the ITT and advanced ITT, though he can attend during the articles period, but still he has given option at a later point in time, once he completes his article, then he can actually go for advanced ITT or GMCS for that 6 months time which is available for his study. So the overall total calculation which we have done, it is actually impacting, assuming all people clear in first attempt at 136 days was the gap which was been noted, which we have already shared in this site. Now with regards to the industrial training, earlier we had an option from which was between 9 to 18 months, because the article period is reduced to 24 months. Now it is going to be restricted to only 1 year. That is what we have actually talked about. Then the transfer of article continues to be there. During the second year, he can actually take a transfer, and the stipend has been increased to almost 100%. And we were very, happy to receive some comments which were very positive to see that the increase in stipend should be furthermore, which has been recommended by a lot of members across the length and breadth of the country. Then the last one, which is primarily the exit route, which has been the most talked about scenario at this point in time. In the previous regime, we had a concept of accounting technician, which was if you clear only one group of intermediate, then you can actually apply for it. But in the case of BAA, we have seen a lot of people who have qualified, who are very, superb students, but unfortunately they could not actually complete their CA. But they are semi-qualified and doing a fantastic job. Why should our people be lost in the entire process was a thought which was being put, and BAA is being introduced for the first time, because the new education policy also talk about the skill-based approach. By the time articleship is completed and his both groups are cleared, then his practical training is completed, soft skill and information technology is completed, almost 4 self-paced module are completed. Only what is he pending with? He is the final paper. Sorry. So a person's identity will be given to a person in a form of BAA. This is what the new thought process has actually been there. And we request you to kindly give your suggestions. Though these people will not be having any authority and any other thing, but a recognition certificate will be given to all these people at a larger level. Now, this is one thing which is being discussed at length again, like the BAA, which is primarily the certificate of practice. Earlier, there was no limitation, but now we have actually thought about a situation where a person completes his articles, qualifies his CA, then a person generally doesn't go directly for opening up his firm. The person can actually work under a chartered accountant, take his grooming, and then get into practice. There has been multiple questions which are being posed by people saying that a person get to know that he is going to go for practice. How will any other person give him that opportunity? Friends, let us take in fact into understanding very clearly. Even today, people who are qualified are working in the audit firms. Not only the large firm, but also the medium firms which are really doing extremely well. So this is not going to be a limitation for any member at that point in time to go for a certificate of practice. It has been done with the thought that a person works under a chartered accountant and continue to get groomed because the requirement of laws and compliance are going high. It is important that the person thoroughly understands what is the way of practice that need to be run. So from that point of view, this 1 year post-qualification is being introduced. The last one is with regards to the international curriculum. This is the first time we have actually thought about coming out with the international curriculum. There are two parts to it. There are certain countries where accounting bodies are not there, where ICAI can actually go and adopt those countries and ensure that in those countries, ICAI syllabus, which is relevant to their specific country, can be actually given to them. And we can actually contribute at the national and international level by giving our best, which we have been doing always. Even today, there are certain projects which are being done at a national, international level, where we are supporting certain GCC countries to adopt, to establish their institutes, which is actually in the news also. So I don't have any reason to hold it back. And there are some other countries also which have always asked a support from us. So what will happen is, if our curriculum is being actually given to those countries can actually produce chartered accountants. Number two, ICAI quality has been recognized across the globe, and the answer is very simple. 65 international chapters and few thousands of people operating globally is not a myth. It is a reality. And if we are able to introduce a concept of international curriculum where international students can participate, I think the exposure for the Indian firm also will be much better. Also for the foreign firms will be much better. So these are the most important changes which are being proposed. I request Vice Chairman to take it forward.
Slide is not moving. Friends, till we are able to get it back on screen. Yeah, Anupji, any? We can start responding to some of the questions till we are able to get to the synopsis of the scheme. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks. We have received certain questions from our members. I'm just going to pose it to my chairman and vice chairman. So one of the questions we've received from one of the members is, if a student chooses to start his preparation after completing his 10th standard from this year, he'll have to undergo the old syllabus or new syllabus. By the time he'll be eligible for appearing in CA Foundation, the syllabus would have been changed. When will ICAI provide the relevant material and support in order to prepare himself to write exam in new syllabus?
Yeah. So responding to that, see, like I mentioned, that the curriculum, it is under a process to be notified. And once we go through all the comments, there might be change in the subjects. The syllabus also might undergo change. So till the time it gets notified by the government, we would also parallelly start working on the contents, the syllabus of the subjects, as well as the study material and all. And there would definitely be transitional provisions from the existing scheme to the new scheme. And all efforts would be made at the Board of Studies to ensure that no students are being put into inconvenience because of the transition from the old scheme to the new scheme. But presently, honestly, till the feedback is complete and we are able to close the whole scheme, it would be difficult for us to give any concrete answer. But I can assure that the transition would definitely be smooth.
So just I would like to add on this, sir. Sir, for the students' consumption, we have already put an announcement that till the time we don't announce any date of launching, they should continue to read the syllabus which is already there, and we'll be giving them sufficient time so that they are getting the material in time and they are able to appear for the new exam.
Sir, I suppose. Sir, I suppose that once any student will be starting from foundation course with the new syllabus, he will be going for the new intermediate and final. There will not be two parallel schemes will be going continuously, simultaneously.
Prakash, it will not be going to parallelly. We are going to take a call accordingly. In past, we used to have some old syllabus and the new syllabus model. But in the current CRET, we are actually going to have a transition period. And from the transition period, immediately the new course will start.
The question, very pertinent question, which has been raised by one of the members is, professional success hinges on communication skills and articulation. As chartered accountants, we have not been able to equip many members unless they have acquired it during their basic education. How is the proposed scheme addressing this issue?
I think a very interesting question, and to respond that back, madam, I think, the self-paced learning modules are going to be an answer to many of such questions, friends. We have done a beautiful experimenting with Digital Learning Hub and live classes, online, reviews, which we have been happening at a larger level. And, for the purpose of foundation, when we want to make everything equitable, as you all know that, training was happening at different parts of the country, different cities, state, town, village. But under the self-paced learning module, where the technology is going to be one of the most important drivers in the process, so this learning experience will be added on the self-paced learning so that the basic communication can actually go up in a good quality manner. So this is the answer for that.
Thanks, sir. Another question is, it will be useful to have MCQ-based examinations along with an open book method of answering practical real-life situations and problems. Whether the proposed scheme envisages this method of testing students or candidates?
Yeah, so with respect to the question, I would answer that the final level paper 6 is what we are envisaging, as what we have mentioned is that integrated business solutions. It is a multidisciplinary case study with strategic management. The whole thought process here is that the students would be exposed to real life practical case studies where the student, and that is why it is being kept at the final level of the whole examination pattern, considering that the student would have gone through all the papers, all the, I would say, the 2 years of practical training, as well as the GMCS, the IT courses, would have also done the, self-paced online modules, would have passed all the papers or would have learned through all the nitty-gritties, and then the student is capable to respond to the, as a business solution provider, to the case studies, the real life case studies or the case studies that would be asked, which would be multidisciplinary. So I think this is one paper, and like the chairman rightly mentioned, that this is one paper that would be a game changer for the student, that once the student qualifies as a member, he would have been exposed to such situations while giving this paper, and therefore would be able to be successful in practice or maybe even in industry.
Thank you, sir. So another question, which is suggestion rather, which has come is, one of the members is saying that she's suggesting not to remove strategic costing and performance evaluation from final syllabus. She's saying it is of utmost importance for industry. Making it self-paced will dilute its importance and students will not study costing seriously.
I am not costing champion, but one thing is for sure, there has been a long deliberations when the CRET was being actually put for discussion. The most important thing which we all have to understand is how much do we want to burden our students with a learning process. Somewhere we need to have some, a point of stop. So something or the other, you need to actually not compromise, I say. We can only say, rather than compromising, if I can complement or I can support the entire learning through self-pace. And as I was suggesting, there are multiple post-qualification courses which are there in the institute itself. Let the student actually go for that process post-qualification if he is interested into. So that's the only answer which I have at this point in time. But yes, we have noted your suggestion, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one more interesting question is, one of the members is saying whether exam pattern will be changed in sense it will be more easier than today.
So I just would like to quote a Supreme Court judgment. When you are writing examination of chartered accountancy, you need to sweat. So answer is very simple. It cannot be compromised, and we don't want to compromise the curriculum of the CA profession. It has been standing very strong and tall over a period of time. Situations have been there, exceptions have been there, but I think at the larger level, the profession has been very, very, respected at a larger level. So we are not going to compromise anywhere at any given point in time. That be rest assured.
I would just like to add to this, not exactly on the question, but because it is relating to the exam pattern. There is a proposal that to increase the number of examinations that the institute holds in a year. So presently, like we have the May, November 2 exams in a year. There is a proposal, and the institute and the council and all of us would be working towards that. We make the system more robust. That we are able to have proper systems in place, so proper SOPs in place, by which we are able to have 3 examinations in a year. Then maybe to that extent, I would say that it might become a bit easier.
One more point which I would like to add for all you people knowledge is, if you see and respond to the examination pattern in the feedback form, with regards to foundation, we have asked whether you want 2 exams, 3 exams, or anytime examination, also which is being discussed and deliberated. That means the council is thinking on every aspect, and we need your feedback with regards to the foundation as well as intermediate. Earlier, as rightly said by Vishalji, that we were only having 2 papers. Why not? It can be 3 times. So a lot of such deliberations are happening. Request you all to go through the feedback form, which will give you a lot of insight in process.
Yes. Sir, 2 more questions, sir, instead of 1, sir. One of the members is inquiring just to enlighten about new ways of learning which we are trying to bring in now, sir.
New ways of learning is nothing but the self-paced module which we are talking about. But before coming to a level of self-paced module, friends, let me just share with you, we all have been experiencing a very interesting process of learning. In last 2.5, 3 years of our COVID time, so much of learning has happened online, right? Is it a new way of learning? Let me just take any example of a remotest place. Example, I come from a state called Telangana, and there is a place called Nizamabad, which is there, where, we have a chapter, but no major faculties used to visit because number of members used to be very less. Similarly, the students used to find it difficult to be in that particular city, village, or town. Rather, they used to move to a larger cities over a period of time to take their classes and all. Now, what is happening in this entire process is Digital Learning Hub has given a fantastic opportunity. Online VCMs have given a fantastic opportunity for people to get access to the best of the best faculties. And if you go and download the BOS app, which we are going to make available for our members also, all the subjects in foundation, inter, and final, all the subjects 4, 8, 8, every chapter of that subject has a separate video which a person can sit and listen to the discussion wherever that student is. That is with regards to the recorded lectures. We are talking about one more advanced learning, which is primarily, live classes which are going on from the institute head office, regional offices. Different classes are happening where a student can actually reach out by typing at their queries and get their feedback. Number 3 is on the counseling which we are trying to do with our students. So all these things have been an experiential learning in the entire process. We are adopting to a newer ways of learning means is this. And the self-paced learning modules are again going to be in two forms, most probably. One is the pre-recorded lectures, and second will be online classes, and third, the assessment will be proctored. So these are all going to add value to the person, because it is not restricted to the day or a time. Please understand, it is not restricted for a day or a time. A student can open his laptop or a mobile and start reading whenever, wherever that student want to go through. So this is where the new way of learning is coming up. Number two, we are introducing the concept from hard study material. We have moved to ebook. Now from ebook, we are moving to audiobook. From audiobook, now we are proposing to go for a bot. So which you are going to listen to from Board of Studies in next 1.5 months. What is the new introduction of learning, which is happening in a very large manner? There is a major transformation taking place for the learning experience. So wait and watch in time to come.
Thank you, sir. One last question, sir. I thought this is quite important. There is some doubt in the mind of the member, I think, which you kindly clarify. The member is saying, if a candidate scores less than 50% in self-paced modules, then will the CA final be considered as cleared if the candidate clears final examination? So this is one part. I come to the next part, sir, if you can respond to this.
So primarily, a student is required to clear his self-paced learning before he goes for final examination. Otherwise, it will not be allowed to go and write the final exam. Straight.
Yes. Right. So next part is, if the candidate clears final examination, what happens if the candidate scores less than 50% in self-paced modules? I think, sir,
so answer is given.
Answer is
right?
already given, that the student cannot sit for the final exam till he scores 50%. And then, sir, I think, sir, kindly clarify about suppose a student has not passed, has not scored 50% in the self-paced module, how many attempts they will be getting and when they are able to do it?
Oh, for self-paced learning, there is no restriction. That's what I was telling you.
Yes.
There will not be any time limit. There will not be any day limit. A person doesn't clear, might be we'll put a SOP kind of thing. Within 1 week, you study back,
yes,
come back again and write anytime any examination. Appearing for a self-assessment is going to be the easiest thing which a student can go through. But
दया सर यहाँ पे अपन एक चीज अच्छा.
But the most important part is this: all self-paced learnings are going to be on advanced proctored recordings when you write the assessment test. Please remember this. It's not going to be easy. Some people have communicated for diverting people that it will be an easy way of copying. No. Currently, TCS is the agency which is supporting us at the national level for the proctored examination approach. So please take it from us. It will be further advanced from there also. So it's not going to be simple. Yes, Prakash sir. Prakash sir?
सर जो अभी सीसा में सिस्टम है कि आप एक बार एग्जाम देते हैं और यदि क्लियर नहीं कर पाते हैं तो वो अदरवाइज 1 महीने तक वापस आपको अलाउ नहीं करता है. अपन यदि इसमें इस वाले मॉड्यूल में अपन ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हैं कि एक बार वो बच्चा एग्जाम देता है, वो क्लियर नहीं करता है, तो उसको कुछ सर्टेन डेज का वो रेस्ट्रिक्ट करने के इतने दिन बाद ही वो वापस वो एग्जाम दे सकता है.
यस सर, वही बोला सर मैं. अभी वो स्टैंडर्ड ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स बने नहीं है. That will be a wisdom of a council which will prevail. But yes, might be 7 days, 10 days, 1 month will be too longer period for a person to prepare. But whereas in this is yet to be decided, I'll put it this way.
Sir, one very last question again, sir. Is there age criterion for joining the course? So I thought we should end with this particular note, sir. Is there any criteria for joining, age criteria for joining the course?
The course can be joined once the student clears or passes class 10. I think that is the only criteria for joining the course. There is no age related criteria that is there. It's only the qualification, I would say, of passing class 10 examinations that a student can join the course.
In a lighter way, whenever a candidate wants to join and whichever age, they are eligible to do it subject to the 10 pass. They have to have passed the class 10.
Correct, madam. And there are tens of examples which we have in ICAI where people retired from their job at the age of 60 and qualified their examination. So age is not a limit for learning. And I think we all are learning over a period of time. And this new CRET has also been an experiential learning for all of us to think differently and get it before the members and the student at a larger level. With this, I'll request Vice Chairman Vishal Doshi ji to kindly give his vote of thanks and conclude the session.
Yeah. Thank you, Chairman.
Sorry, 1 second. My last point. We are very happy that a lot of questions have come. We assure you from Board of Studies that all these questions will be compiled in FAQs and we will be hosting after the closure.
Thank you, Chairman sir.
वाइस चेयरमैन साहब, चेयरमैन साहब बस 1 मिनट लूंगा आपका। जो इसमें आपने जो कोर्स बताया, इसमें खास करके जो आपने इस कोविड के बाद में जो सिस्टम अपन करना चाह रहे हैं, particularly this will be very very beneficial for the students of CIRC branches, because we are having the maximum branches, but we are having very small number and we are not having that infrastructure. So by this e-learning, they will be the most benefited by this. So really thankful from our region side, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Prakash bhai. Friends, like the Honorable President sir mentioned in the opening remarks, that it is extremely important for all the members to please come forward and give your feedback. And friends, I would just like to add to it that the feedback or the comments is not only for those where you have a suggestion or you do not agree to a particular aspect of the scheme. Even if you agree in full, in toto, that confirmatory feedback is going to be extremely helpful for us. Therefore, my earnest request from all the members of the board and the council, each one of you, we expect honest and candid feedback from you. And that is what is going to be the success of this whole scheme. As you have heard, we have deliberated that there are some very, very path-breaking changes that have been brought about in this scheme, and the inputs and confirmation from all of you would help us, would motivate us in implementing it for the betterment of the students and for the future of our profession. With this, friends, I thank all of you for participating in large numbers on this weekday, I would say at 3 p.m. But yes, the numbers itself says how important it is for all of us to understand the nuances of this scheme. And like Chairman sir mentioned, we are open to any inputs, any suggestions. Feel free to connect with us. The PPT is available on the website. It has been hosted on the Board of Studies website, along with the notification and the announcement. Our I would say email IDs are also available there. But earnest request once again, friends, please do give your feedback. And thank you very much for participating in large numbers from all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.